is Felicia, and I am here with another video using one of my older, we're going to go back some time here, one of my older Ali Edwards story stamp kits. And I'm going to start by showing you what's in it because it is an older kit. It's over a year old. I want to go ahead and just kind of show you what's in it. We're going to start first off with the acrylic word, which is change. That's what I'm going to be using. And then we have, I'll go with the cards first. We have the cards. And yes, I have all the cards for this because I organized them. We have, and they're all one-sided now. When she first started out, they were single-sided, double-sided. And so now everything is, you don't have to, so that way you don't have to choose. Now she's putting everything on one side. And so we're going to start with the cards here. I'm just going to start with these 4x6 ones, which is the story of an easy change, the story of hard change, moving forward. I don't know if you can see that. Transitions can be tough, which is, I was thinking of using that one, but I'm not quite sure. This one has big changes on it. And then we have, here's the story, big step. You can journal over here. And then we have this nice little rainbow of these little crosses. I don't know if you can see that. Got that. Then we have transition, which is related to change. It says transition, beautiful, brutal, awesome, expected, unexpected. I can do this, you can do this, we can do this. So that might be one I might be using. And yeah, change is a coming. Okay. And so that is what we have here in our Ali Edwards cards here. And then we have here, and I do have all the quote cards that she puts with them. I just didn't put it with this group. Okay, so then we have, let's see, the 3x4 cards, which is start right now. Let's do this, bring on the changes. And then we have, and Ali was used to draw her own boxes like this. It's kind of a cool little wonky like type of box. And then she would put these lines to it so you can journal on it. And she'd draw her own lines. And she used to do this a lot back in the day before she started her own card kits, or her craft kits. I'm sorry, her story kits. I can't even get it straight. But anyways, I have stamp sets with these kind of wonky drawings on it that she used to do as well. So I still have those. Then we have good things are going to happen. Embracing change in the middle of the mess, one day at a time. This might be a card I might be using soon. This change is just hard. That might be another one. Nothing changes if nothing changes. The story of change. Try to resist. Okay, so this one's a long one. Try to resist the changes that come your way. Instead, let life live through you, and do not worry that life is turning upside down. How do you know that the side you are used to is better than the one yet to come? Okay, so this is a nice little quote that she has on this one. You can see that. I'm not sure if my camera's picking this up properly, but anyway, let's see if it's picking it. Oh yeah, there it goes. So there's another one here. I can do this. Change is what it is. And some nice little raindrops, yellow raindrops. And then, yes, you can. If you ever find yourself in the wrong story, leave. That's great. I like that one. So these are the 4x6 cards. I'm going to separate what I think I'm going to use. So I think it was, I had a choice between the story of hard change and the change. So we're going to put that over there. I'm not sure what I'm going to use just yet. And so then we have the embellishments. We have some wood veneer here. So actually I will start with the wood veneer because they're all over the place. There's 5 pieces of wood veneer. And one says change. One says good. One says, one says this. One says love. And one says hard. So these are the words, that the wood veneer that come with that kit as well. So I'll put those right there. And then we have a set of these little puffy stickers that came with it. And then we have a little half sheet of sticker phrases like learn, try, new day, yes, or words, change of mind, real life. I like these. They're kind of a gray and white. And then we have some asterisk. I guess that's what you would call these little gold ones here. The lights kind of act a little funky on here. So. And then we have the 2 chipboards. Now, the 2 chipboards. Oh, and I forgot that little notepad that comes with it as well. Is called. It says today's goals, and she usually puts some of these things in there from time to time. And this is pretty good. I like this little notepad. You could take this off and journal, or you could just use it as a notepad. You can use it on your scrapbook, and you can use it anywhere on your layout. That's what and then of course the chipboard. And usually she has a chipboard, a 4x6 chipboard, and she changed it up a little bit. I guess hence the word change. And we have circles here, and the circles, we cannot become what we want by remaining what we are. Some more of those little raindrop type of deal things. And embrace this with an open mind and an open heart. Be the change you want to see. Just breathe. You are allowed to change. Hello, changes. And then this one, new beginnings are often disguised as painful endings. I'm trying to read it this way because I'm not really upside down. In order for me to read it, I'd have to turn it this way, but I'm showing you what it says. So, okay, so this is what we're going to do. I'm going to go ahead and get started and make a layout with this and using this photo. And then I'll tell you the story behind this photo. It was kind of insanely crazy that I even did this hike. It was 10 miles, you guys. 10 miles. It was brutal on the way back. On the way down, it was great. But on the way back, it was brutal. Oh, my gosh. And it's a good thing I'm in decent shape because I wouldn't have made it. I would not have made it. If you have bad back or bad knees, forget it. Anyway, so I'm going to go over the story for this, and you'll see my journaling as well. Okay, I'll see you in a little bit. Okay, so what I did was I pre-cut that little triangle thingy there. I had a specific idea in mind for this layout, and I wanted to make sure that I pre-cut it that way I wouldn't forget how I wanted it to end up on the layout, using an 8.5 by 11 white cardstock. And you can see that I've already typed up my journaling, which is what I wanted to have on this layout, is typed journaling. And now I am trimming it down so that it can fit within this, on this blue cardstock, which I am going to use as a mat for my journaling. But you can see here that I'm trying my best to make sure that it doesn't get, what's the word I'm looking for? That it's not too big, or it doesn't get overpowering on the layout. So I'm trying to make sure that I have a small margin here for this particular journaling piece that I want to put on there. So now that I've gotten that cut down, you can see I'm going to be gluing that part onto the layout there, because there it goes right there. And then you can see it's kind of overlapping the triangle at the bottom, and that's not what I want. I want it to be kind of freestanding without it touching. So I'm going to be fooling around with this for a little bit. And while I'm trying to get that together, I'll explain to you about this hike. Now, I've never in my life walked 10 miles. This hike that we took, which was in the Calaveras area here in California where the big trees are, it was a 10-mile hike. And let me tell you, on the way down, it was beautiful. I enjoyed the hike. I was like, yay. And I didn't even realize that we had walked 5 miles down to the running river that was our destiny and our goal to get to. And then what ended up happening was we said, oh, that's right, we got to go back. And then it didn't dawn on me until the first mile back. I was like, oh no, we got to go up instead of down. And oh my gosh, it was so treacherous. I tell you, halfway there, I was dying. I was like, because every muscle in my body was screaming, why did you do this? Why did you do this? Oh my God, my everything. I mean, parts on my body was just yelling at me, screaming at me. And in my journaling, I put probably even cursing at me because it was an interesting, very interesting hike. So, um, needless to say, that was a lot of walking. I had, I think, over 29,000 steps on my Fitbit. Um, I burned almost 2,000 calories. It took us 4.5 hours to do that hike to and fro. And oh my gosh, I tell you, my body paid for it. It the next day, or actually later in the day, it started just giving me that, what are you doing? And then I had to soak in some Epsom salt and, kind of lay around a little bit to recover. And it wasn't that we didn't have any water. I had plenty of water with me. It wasn't that at all. And I had plenty of snacks. It wasn't that at all either. It was the fact that it was going uphill, and my body is not the type to go uphill like that. Not my lower half. Now my top half. Now if it'd have been different if my top half was the bottom half, and I'll explain that in a minute. It would have been perfect, but it wasn't. So in other words, I'm a type 1 on the bottom and I'm a type 2 on the top, which means that my body builds muscle quicker at the top than it does at the bottom. And so I have more endurance at the top than I do at the bottom. So that's exactly what that means. So anyway, so back to the layout. I'm going through some of my Ali Edwards / Studio Calico alphas there, and I've accumulated quite a bit because I used to also belong to the Studio Calico Project Life when they first came out with theirs, and I did that for a couple years, and then I decided not to do it anymore and stick with the Ali Edwards story stamp kit, which is what I'm enjoying, by the way. I really am enjoying this. So right now I got some of the wood veneer that was in the kit, and I'm going to be gluing that word down change, because I'm going to take up that white space on that 3.5 by 4, 3x4 card. I'm not leaving it blank because I'm not going to journal on that card, as you can see, because I have my journaling at the top. So my thing is that I am trying my best to make sure that I am not over embellishing, because my story is important on here. Because the word change has a lot to do with part of my story. Change means that I will be incorporating hiking, even though that first hiking there in that 10 miles was I'm also a cyclist. So it is a good thing I was a cyclist, because I probably wouldn't have gotten through that 10 miles. So I'm going to be incorporating hiking in my exercise regimen now. And so that is the change that I'm talking about. That is something that I am going to actually embrace. And I'm going to use that and incorporate a lot of that into that, the hiking into my exercise routine. So, and it does take a lot to change your routines once you get used to a certain routine. But I've already been on 2 hikings now since I've done that Calaveras one, and they weren't as long. But yeah, I'm really happy that I changed that. Yeah, so the last hike I did here recently was 4 miles, and the one I did before that was 4 miles, and the one I did before that was 4 miles. So I can do 4 miles easily, right? Oh my gosh. So I decided to incorporate that. This is going to be interesting because I burn a lot more calories, I'm telling you, hiking than I do biking, and I'm really surprised. So, sorry, that was my Mac. So, I'm really happy. I'm just happy that I was able to do that, and I'm glad that I am going to be incorporating that, because I am going to definitely do that. And I found an exercise that'll help me build my lower body, and that way I'll be able to hike uphill a lot easier once I build that lower body. So, but yeah, this is great. I got to keep myself in shape. I have to. And, being on that trail outdoors and everything, not having to wear a mask to suffocate yourself, and the intake of oxygen was perfect, because you need that pure intake of oxygen, rather than breathing in your own carbon dioxide in a mask when you're out doing exercise outdoors. People might disagree with me, but I've done some research and I found out that if you're an athlete and you're wearing a mask, you do not have enough oxygen intake to suffice for your body. In other words, so your body can perform better. So, yeah. And so that's it. That's pretty much it. I mean, if I have to go into the grocery stores and things like that and all that kind of stuff, and I'm around a group of people, of course I'm going to wear my mask. But when I'm outdoors, the trees provide plenty of oxygen out there, clean oxygen. There's so much oxygen out there. You don't even have to worry about it. So, but yeah, so anyway, it was great. I enjoyed it. I'm glad I did it, and I'm going to be doing more hikes. And so far, I'm this will be hike number, I think 4 for me, number 4, and I'm super stoked. It's a new change in my life, so that's why I decided to go ahead and do that. And that you see, that photo is a picture of the Calaveras Hills. There, I mean, it stretches for miles and miles and miles, and there are bears up there. As long as you don't run into the mother with her cubs, you'll be okay. Even though I sound like, it's not a big deal. It is a big deal, and it's heck scary. Anyway, so I just thought I'd take you on that little voyage and story there. And you can see I've used and cut around the circle. I'm going to be doing some stamping, and I used the wood veneer. So I pretty much used quite enough pieces here in this kit, and I'm going to probably be using it again because there's another story that I want to incorporate. So I'm going to do that right now so you can see. And so I am pretty much done with this layout, and you're going to get some close-ups of it. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. If you have any suggestions, please feel free to tell me. Take care, guys, and have a wonderful, wonderful week. Bye-bye.